Welcome, wrestling fans. It is Wrestling Revolution Keaton here. Today's video comes to you from Core's Corner. It's the second Northern Irish Wrestlers reunion.
Second year in a row, best dressed man. Dennis Miller, Diamond Sean Nail.
Good, David.
Living legend.
All joined the back here, folks. A big clap here for Bill Townsley, Judo Bill Weaver.
Who was being there? Come on up there.
Well, a few matches down at the end of this, so folks, we got a fellow here who obviously, folks, you hopefully all have a copy of the book. See, there's a man here who provided countless photographs. So, Peter Naughty, aka Jack Flash David. Folks, you might have to stand. These cards are at 12 years, folks. Just directly in front of me, one most well-regarded wrestler, I think, by every single person in this room, Mr. Bruce McDonald.
Hi, I'm Stanton.
And everybody in this room has a first match with Bruce. Everybody in the room has a first match with Bruce was saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, sitting beside Bruce here is the daughter of a long-time referee, Sid Waddell. So, give us well, she's dead, let that woman come back here. Folks, the writing table down there at the back, or the party table down there at the back, like, you know, first of all, the lone wolf, I brought the family to, Mr. George Crothers. Folks, beside George, Ireland's oldest living wrestler, 93 years old. Folks, down beside him there, like a long-time friend, the most famous family in Irish wrestling, the Finlay family, Dave Finlay Sr. And beside him, his daughter Wendy, one of the first ever women's referees in the history of the wrestling. Down here at the bottom, folks, a family member, like, you know, from a man who I love to God speak to, that being Noel Ewart, Noel's son Larry. Thank you for coming along, Larry. Down here at the back, he's looking well there, with thick back hair, nice suit on there. Mr. Ralph Hunter, Rocky Hunter. Looking even better, that man down there, Ricky Valentine. I showed the brothers a lad a few months ago, and he said that man if he can go tomorrow, that man if he can wrestle tomorrow, so it's like maybe one more match again. And finally, folks, I just point him out here. Ireland's youngest wrestling fan, 10 years old, came along here. He's read the book. He knows all the names in the book. He's been chanting already. Give it up for Keaton. Keaton, yeah. One more, folks, the most important person here, the barman, Tony. I got one more, folks, actually, I should say, and that's my beautiful fiancée, soon-to-be wife, next year. Here they have a club of all announcements for getting this book published, so Eddie, thanks for all the love.
Are we all invited to the wedding?
And folks, I also just point out there's also a family member here. She's just chatting out there at the moment. Jean, she's a relative of Tiger Joe Moore. I'm delighted she's come along here today too. Thank you guys for coming along. Thank you.
And a big shout out to Diamond Shondell, who gave me the personal invite, and Ricky Valentine, who gave me some fabulous wrestling advice.
Well, it did. But everything came by professionals. You weren't allowed to use any professional holds. So we were lambs laid in slitter. And then for some reason or other, I found myself ahead in points. Of course, when you do our fellow get down, and I knew then I must be leading a point, but it was short-lived. But I finished up getting beaten points. And one of more fellas won, I was beating points, and all the rest was all pinned. Because we hadn't a clue how we got around.
So you can see his legacy goes right back to then. Like, you know, but that was 1947. We wrestled down there, so he's an amazing guy. Like, I just love him.
How did you first get into wrestling?
Pardon?
How did you first get into wrestling?
I just joined a amateur club. Led from that. Stayed in the club for probably 4 or 5 years. And then started to wrestle professionally. And I had my first bout in Derry, at the Guildhall in Derry. And I've wrestled in Canada once, just once, because it was a bit late on it, it wasn't heavy enough. But I've wrestled regularly here, like I mean, for years, you know what I mean. Well, wrestling's been very good to me. I have no complaints about it. And I've never got any serious injuries. I've got plenty of injuries, but nothing serious, like, you know. So I've been lucky, like.
How many clubs did you train in?
Oh, just one.
One? Which one?
Well, I changed, I practiced in different gyms, but I was only in the one club, like. Sometimes I trained in the Shangle Road, sometimes I trained in Sandy Road, sometimes I trained in York Street.
Who was your favourite opponent?
Pardon?
Who was your favourite opponent?
Favourite opponent? I used to wrestle Bruce quite often. I've had 2 or 3 bouts with Bruce. And Davy Finlay. Wrestled him a few times. I've wrestled most of them a couple of times, you know. And they're all different styles and different methods of doing things. So it's very hard. Some people can be strong in this and weak in others, and then the vice versa. It's very difficult to say who would be the most fluent wrestler like other wrestlers, you know. I suppose a man called Harry Wright, and he was a lightweight champion of Northern Ireland. And he was an excellent. It was him that taught me professional wrestling. Well, the first thing is to keep yourself fit and get to know things right. I used to wrestle with my eyes closed when I was learning. I used to wrestle blind when I was learning because it meant I had to really concentrate on what I was doing. Instead of seeing anybody watch me, little things like that.
You ever have to go to hospital for your matches?
An odd time, just an odd time. I was very lucky. But I learned how to fall properly, and that saved me. Although, in a way, what happened was I was having problems getting rid of the rubbish in my body. And when they brought me in the hospital, they found that my bowel was all in bits and pieces. So I reckon it was a wrestling, getting thumped and falling in the ring and falling out of the ring, drop kicking and all. I reckon that's what done my Berlin.
But who do you think is the best coach?
Oh, Harry Brown
Harry Brown?
from the Shangle Road, yes.
That's where I live.
He was an encyclopedia on wrestling. Knew all about it. And was very patient. And always like to see you doing the thing right, you know.
Hello wrestling fans, it's Wrestling Revolution Keaton here with another special video. I'm with a wrestling legend. This is Ricky Valentine.
Hi.
How did you, what convinced you to start wrestling?
I went down to do weightlifting. I didn't do weightlifting. I used to do weightlifting a little bit older than you. But how old are you now? 10. I was about 12, 13 when I started weightlifting. And then I started putting on weight. So I went down to this gymnasium. I knew there was weights there. So I started weightlifting. And I didn't know there was a wrestling ring in it. And one of the wrestling trainers came down and said to me, would you like to try and learn to wrestle? There was a group of guys learning to wrestle. And I said, no, I don't want to. And 10 minutes later, he came down and again and he said, look, there's a guy the same weight as you. He says, try it. If you don't like it, you can go back to the weights. Out of a class of about 20, there was only 2 of us made it. And I was one that didn't want to wrestle. And I grew to love wrestling. That's how I got into wrestling.
So, who was your biggest opponent?
Giant Haystacks.
That you faced Giant Haystacks?
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, he's a giant of a man. His feet were about size 15, 16, and he was about, I would say, 30 stone. He was a giant of a man, and he didn't do any great moves. He didn't have to because he was so strong. Yeah.
So with the world of sport and all that, did you feel like you were representing your country? Did you feel like you were?
Yeah, I was Irish middleweight champion.
Right.
Yeah. And I wrestled in England, Isle of Man, in Scotland. I wrestled all the top names, not all of them, but most of the top names. And the best wrestler I have ever wrestled, well, there was 2 of them. Johnny Saint.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
All the time.
And a guy called Adrian Street.
Yes, I know Adrian Street. He dressed like a female.
Brilliant. Good wrestler.
Yeah.
Showman, but a really good wrestler.
Dressed
Yeah.
like a female.
Yeah.
So, what would you say you would like to do now that you're retired?
I swim. I'm a swimmer. I swam all my life. And my daughter was Irish and British champion, 200 meters breaststroke. So she took after me swimming. Yeah. I grew to like doing a drop kick. I was really good at drop kicks. I actually drop kicked Giant Haystacks in the chin. That was my fame, if you like. So he was 7 feet high. I thought I was never going to come down to the canvas to do a breakfall when I drop kicked him.
Were you ever in a tag team with anyone?
Yes, many times. Dave Finlay, Dave Stalford. Do you know? No, his name was Dave Stalford.
Yeah.
He wrestled under what is it? Dave something, I forget his name, but he was a good tag team partner. Many. Billy Joeback.
Billy Joeback, yeah. Wasn't he half Canadian or something?
No, Billy Joe's not well at the moment, and I hope he gets better. But he was supposed to come today, but I think he was ill.
He was a legend.
And then Pat Red Kelly, he lives in Donegal, and he's ill as well. He got a new heart pacemaker in, but he was a really good wrestler as well. A hard man.
Have you did all you wanted to do in wrestling?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I did. I'd like to have wrestled in the United States, but you know, with no money then really to go over, and that's one thing I would like to do. Dave Finlay, he's over in Georgia at the moment in America, and he's got I think it's 10 wrestling rings, and he's in charge of all that. Brilliant.
Yep. So, do you think the Northern Irish game could overcome any other countries in wrestling? Do you think that if there was a big contest,
Irish wrestlers were, in my view, some of the best wrestlers in the world. And I'm not just saying it because I'm Irish. I've seen different. Another country is famous for its wrestlers. It's Hungary. Tibor Zakis is from Hungary. Do you remember his name? Do you know the name?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Tibor Zakis. He was really, really good. I wrestled him. He was really good. Good wrestler. Yeah.
So what was your biggest win?
Against Johnny Kidd, the Scottish lightweight champion. Yeah, that was my biggest win.
What's the future for Ricky Valentine? What's the future?
Stay fit. Stay fit. Yeah. If you don't stay fit, you're dead.
Yeah, and so for a younger wrestler like me, one of Northern Ireland's youngest wrestlers, how would you? What would you advice would you like to give me?
What type of wrestling? Amateur, professional? What?
So
Bit of both. Yeah, that's a good mix. If you don't know amateur wrestling, you're not going to be a good pro wrestler because it takes a bit of both. So keep fit, learn every day, and make sure you do your break falls right. Because if you don't do your break falls right, you're out of the game because you'll have a bad back. Okay? Can you do a good break fall? Good eyes.
So thank you for having me.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now. This is Rocky Hunter.
Good evening, everybody.
So my first question is, how did you first get into wrestling?
I used to do the amateur wrestling. A big man came up to me called Stan Cook. He asked me what I turned professional, and I was enjoying the thing, but I said, okay. So I had to start training again to learn it all. There was a guy who was Joe Butcher Donnelly. He started teaching me it.
Or Butcher Donald, is it?
Butcher Donnelly, he was a good one. And he trained you hard. And you would have made a good one. Keep the belt for it. You should have done it. It is. And you can put a neck hold on you so you can't.
Okay, look. So,
I'm not sure it's fine. How did your holding out there? You see, the little legs. Don't put in your foot on a picture now.
okay, thank you. So, what did you wrestle outside of Northern Ireland?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
In them days, people went to Aileman. Remember Aileman? That was always all the good big wrestlers went there, you know. It was good. We're good people, so they were.
So who was your most favourite opponent?
First favourite opponent was, good gracious, was that Nelly? Dave Finlay. Dave Finlay was brilliant. He was absolutely. And I used to wrestle for Dave Finlay and a lot because I worked for him the way he wanted to, you know. But Dave would have took on two in one night. And knew if somebody didn't turn up, I'd take a thing up. He was a good boy.
So, why did you choose wrestling as a sport?
I didn't train it at all. As it says, I used to work in Mackey's. This big man I worked with called Stan Cook. And he used to be the 10th strongest man in the world. But he'd done a bit of wrestling. He worked there and I worked here. And every time he had to walk past me, I'd have stopped and I'd have, for a joke, I'd have said to him, big man, you don't move and I'll throw you through a window. And he would do telling me through a window. And we got on together. He said to me, you come down to my club and learn how to wrestle. And that's how I got into it.
Okay. And so why did what opponent would you say would be known as one will be remembered for you? Like what would be remembered?
At least remember the Mummy?
Yes.
Done him. And there was one called the Undertaker, Undertakers. And that was a
He's the Undertaker.
Undertakers. But in them days, they went in and were wearing a oil hat. And they carried a coffin in, threw a coffin onto the stage. and everybody's scattered. Stupid things, you know.
Yeah.
They're good lads.
What was your signature move or killer move?
Just, I would put that on you very, very tight. There's ways of putting it on, but I don't know how to do it. I just enjoy it. You know? And if you enjoy it, you'll enjoy it better. But if you're going to be a bit of a wicked third person, you won't enjoy it yourself.
So what would you choose? What would you say to new wrestlers, like wrestlers coming up from Northern Ireland trying to learn the sport without with the needs help of learning?
Well, there's always clubs that'll show you how to do certain things. But if you get in the club that does wrestling, it's a different sort of thing. You learn it better. You learn how to you learn how to look after yourself. You learn how to put holes on people. You learn how to get out of holes. I could kneel down on that there with a big strong man and ask him to turn me over. He couldn't do it. There's a way of doing it. Different things.
So did you ever have really, really bad injuries?
No, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
So what would be the best type of what was your biggest win that you've ever had?
I fought the world champion, and he beat me.
Who was that?
But he was good. I forget his name, but he was good. I just wrestled. I wrestled. I enjoyed it. Once you enjoy it, you will enjoy it. If you look for faults in yourself, you won't enjoy it. Whatever a guy teaches you, always keep it in mind.
And who was your main coach? The one who really helped you, who boosted your confidence up? The one who really helped you in wrestling?
Ricky there. Ricky's a good wrestler. Dave Finlay was a brilliant wrestler. Dave was great. He was great. He was good.
And what was your character? Were you just a straight wrestler? Were you a guy who the fans always booed? Were you one who they always really liked?
That's right. Oh yeah, I've been booed. I've had a couple of bodies through that now. So you know, but there's just people getting excited. Just paying most people are dead on.
And
You just don't you do anything what you have been taught. When you're taught a thing, you can do it. And if you have been taught it, you can hurt yourself.
did you want the fans to not like you, or did you try to make them not like you?
Sometimes, yes, I've done it. Yeah. As you learn, you get confidence, and you can afford to do things and boo people because you know you're good. But as long as you don't go out deliberately try and break a person's bone, that's spoils it for yourself.
If you went back in time and talked to your young self, say when you first got into wrestling or any time when you were wrestling, what would you tell yourself to do?
It's hard to say. I don't like it all. It's hard to say. It's hard one. Just that I wrestled that I never intended to wrestle. Just fell into it, and it becomes a what's the word? You call it a fanatic for it. You live for it.
So thank you for having me, the legend himself, Rocky Hunter.
I think what it was, Keaton, I run my own wee local shows, I'm kind of winding down a bit now, so I have, but for one of my own local shows, I kind of started wondering who was here before us, and my first encounter with one of the Irish wrestling legends, I would call them, was, we were chatting earlier about him, Kung Fu Eddie Hamill. I met Kung Fu Eddie Hamill, and I actually must try and get you in contact with him, Keaton. I think he'd like to hear from you. But I was chatting to him, and he had these great stories. And from hearing his stories, the world of wrestling that he was in, the world of wrestling now, are just two different worlds. And from chatting to Eddie, I got really interested, and from there, I suppose it spiraled into meeting different people, Dave Finlay, Darkie Arnott, and that's how the book came together. So meeting Eddie Hamill was the first step towards getting into the book. The best wrestlers, I would say, on my roster, Campbell Craig.
Campbell Craig, he came up with
Campbell Craig came up with the name
Yeah.
for this book, Fall, Brawls and
I heard you saying.
Campbell's a fantastic wrestler.
Is he American? He sounds a wee bit American.
I just think that's the way he sounds like, but he's
Yeah.
from Letterkenny, from Donegal, you know. He's fantastic. He once wrestled for 2 hours and 7 minutes. He's unbelievable.
Oh no, that longest one in Europe, wasn't it?
Yes, long
I remember
one.
representing it.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Just you put to him before, have you?
No.
Campbell?
No.
Oh, did you call
But
it Campbell?
I've saw him in the
Well, Campbell and Owen Mack is another great wrestler. He's a young wrestler.
Adam? You mean Adam?
No, Owen Mack.
Oh,
Owen
you know what I'm
Mack.
thinking of, don't you? Oh, Audrey and Mac. You know.
Oh yeah, well, you can pronounce it in that way maybe
Yeah.
too. But Owen Mack, he's from Almost Days. He's our Open Challenge champion at the moment. He's
Oh, yeah.
another phenomenal wrestler. So
I've
he
seen
is.
him a few times.
Oh, he's a good wrestler. So, like, and there's other lads too. You know, like they supposed to Pyro and PJ Stars. And we had lads like Hooch and Manny Linguado as well. We have a great roster of lads there. So we did so.
What impact do you think the wrestling in Northern Ireland has on every country?
Well, you know, it's one of those funny things where the wrestling world might seem very big, but it's actually quite small. Like, you'd be surprised how many people know each other, even in the top leagues to the bottom leagues. And I think Irish wrestling's in a pretty good way. Like, you know, I think they have some good stars. Like, you've seen folks like, obviously there's one down south, you know, Becky Lynch and Finn Balor and Sheamus. They're all big, massive stars. Our most famous wrestler is still Finlay, of course, like, you know, always, yeah. But I'm sure there'll be some breakout Northern Irish star as well. Like, you know, Killian Dean was in WWE for a while. So he was like, so he was doing pretty well. Everyone's getting very loud now, but he was doing pretty well, so he was like, so much. He did, you haven't, when Sandy wasn't or something? Yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure they're stars for the future too, you know, but I think the scene's in a pretty good place. Oh yes, in NXT, yes, yeah. But I'm sure there's plenty of stars for the future in Northern Ireland as well, like in Irish wrestling overall.
Yeah. Would be next for you?
Well, I tell you what, Keaton, off camera mentioned this earlier, you can take this idea off me now if you want, but there's 70 years covered in this book. So from 1932, that's when the first pro wrestling show was in Northern Ireland, until 2002, and that's when things kind of changed a bit, you know. I covered that 7-year history. In about 10 more years' time, it'll be 2032, and that'll be a 100-year history. So I might do a book that covers the last 30 years. However, Keaton, I think he might be a better man to do it than me. So you have my full backing. I'll write your foreword, but you have my full backing to take on the project of writing about modern day pro wrestling. You know, because I think any book, Keaton's point, you've written by you, or have you mentioned in it, you know, for your interview skills.
What's your most favourite person you wrote about?
Oh, well, no, listen, they're all around this room, so they might hear, so they might but, like, I mean, I'd say that the main character in the book, it's Darkie Arnott. Like, he's 93 years old now, he's Ireland's oldest living wrestler. You were speaking to him, Keaton. He's just a total gentleman, he's great crack. I mean, if you're doing that well in 93, we'll all be doing, you know what I mean, like, you're lucky to have his help in 93. But Darkie Arnott goes from, I think, 1950 or maybe 1949 in this book, right up into the 1980s. He covers all the history. I'd say Darkie Arnott, Dave Finlay Sr., Eddie Hamill, Nick Finlay, Carter Cole, Dave Mack. Dave Mack was an MC, referee, promoter, wrestler, everything. I think they're all prominent in the book. But, I mean, there's great characters in the whole book, you know, Daniel Shondell, Rocky Hunter, Ricky Valentine, people in this room, you know, Bruce McDonald. There's great characters throughout the book, so it's like, but Darkie might be the main character.
Do you ever go to any premieres for your books or anything like that?
No, well, I self-published my book on Amazon, like, and that's probably the easiest way to get it published. It was like, I mean, I was saying before to you, all I wanted was just to have a physical book, and like, I mean that's the coolest thing I'll probably ever do in my life. Well, I'm still playing more of a layup. Like, that's one of the coolest things I've ever do in my life. Like, you know, is writing this book. Definitely in wrestling, anyway. It's one of the best things. It's not the best thing. But no, these kind of events here, these get-togethers have probably been the best thing about it. You know, the book in terms of, you know, advertisement, but like, you know, chatting about it. And, you know, you're a fan. Keaton, you were recognizing every single wrestler that came through the door. It's unbelievable. So, like, I think you're shocked these lads know their names. So the books work. The books work. If young fans taking on the information.
When you made some wrestling promotions, how could you overcome the other ones in Northern Ireland, from Titanic, NXT, you know, them different ones?
It's not really about overcoming. I'll tell you what it is. Those promotions there, they stick to Belfast, right? And maybe they do shows elsewhere too, but they stick to Belfast mostly. Ours is always the West. Ours is always Omagh, Letterkenny. We had festivals. We go to Portaferry or wherever it happens, Warren Point and up in Antrim one time. But really, Omagh and Letterkenny was our main places. I mean, there's no point competing against somebody. See, you compete against somebody. Like I mean, unfortunately, if I delve too much into the current modern day Northern Irish wrestling scene, it's a bit messy, so it would. But it was never competing against for me. I just want to do my own thing. And I mean, like, if like you're 10 years old, kid, right? If I could go back in time and tell 10-year-old me someday you are going to run your own wrestling promotion, have your own wrestling events, well, write a book about wrestling, I would have blown 10-year-old me's mind. So I mean, like, I'm happy with what I achieved in terms of like just doing it and keeping a better future. Like, nobody's going to do the things you want to do. You should just go and do them yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if you're possible, as long as they're good things, go and do them yourself. I'm very happy with what I achieved in terms of going out and doing it myself. You know.
So how did you? Why did you choose wrestling as a topic?
Well, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 9 years old. A bit late actually to the game, but from the year 2000 onwards, I was a wrestling fan. And I guess I wasn't really a wrestling fan of this particular type of wrestling until I got into wrestling, into the pros, into the independent scene myself. I started in 2014. I think I was 23 years old. And whenever you get involved in wrestling, you're trained for wrestling, aren't you? Okay. Whenever you get involved in wrestling, you'll soon find yourself even more interested than you were before. So I was a bit interested in wrestling. I think this is continuing now. I'm too deep. 22 years now. Look at my watch. You could tell me the time. I'm 22 years too deep into this fandom to kind of pull out now. You know. So.
Did you ever try to do any wrestling yourself?
Oh, I did. But I'm not the best wrestler. Mine was always have a bit of a laugh. You know, I've wrestled, I've refereed, I've emceed, I've done the sound, I've done all the promoting for it, all the organising for it. I've done plenty of things going for it to have. Like, that's the goodbye to the best of me. Like, you know, Laurie, thanks for coming. Like, you take care. Thanks so much, Laurie. So thanks. You're on interview now, sir.
Oh, really?
No, you're some great wrestler. No, you're. Thanks so much.
Okay, you stick with the wrestling, alright?
Here, thank you, Laurie. You take care. Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Okay, Nick, good to see you.
I think I will, yeah.
Okay, Chum, you never change anyway.
No, like your pal likes to do. So, here, see you later, Laurie.
Okay.
Take care. So, your question was, I wrestling. If you ask some people, my version of wrestling wasn't much wrestling, but I like to have a bit of a laugh. Like, you know, there's a spot for it, but like, I like to have a bit of a laugh, I like to entertain people, like, so I could do a bit of wrestling.
What would you sell your merch?
Amazon's the main place. I should be trying to sell them some shows I go to. I haven't done that yet, so I haven't, like, you know, if I give you a box, will you take it to NXG and Titanic and try and sell them? That might be a good idea. Like, the lads from Titanic and NXG might like to hear that, so they might like you sell my books. But really, Amazon's the best place for it. Like, you know, I remember when I first sold 100 books, I thought, like, this is the best thing in the world. I've actually sold a few more than 100 now, so I have. But no, I mean, like, if people pick them up, I don't want to force it too much, like, but if people pick them up, I'm very happy, like, you know, and it's great getting a bit of feedback from people like yourself. Like, I've had very nice words said to me about the book, and you've added to those nice words today, so I appreciate that. So,
did you, like, set up the ring and stuff?
oh yes, I mean, like, when you're involved in wrestling, setting the ring up, like, here's one thing, if you set the ring up, it's horrible. No one likes doing it. But that's where you learn people's character. The guy was challenging me the other day with this now. See, when you're doing the jobs no one else likes, like, it's all great and well to show up to the show, do your little bit and go home. But see, the lads you appreciate are the lads who are there to help put the ring up, who then do the show and who then help put the ring down. Those are the lads you appreciate. So later on in life, you'll see, like, the people that look out for the people who are helping you at the worst of times, not the best of times. But the ring stuff not too fun. But if you find a way to make it fun, please let me know.
What would it do? Thankful?
All the lads are also appreciative. Like, it was a pleasure for me to write it, and a pleasure for me to meet all the lads, and they were so, appreciative of someone, speaking to them. These lads have probably told their stories years and years and years, and people have probably asking those stories because, that's what happens to a story long enough. It's old, but they're all brand new to me, and I think all the lads are just happy to have me interview them, like, and they're all very appreciative of the book, like, and I'm pretty sure they're fine. I mean, these guys are legends to me, like, these people I admire. My favourite wrestlers, like some of your favourite wrestlers probably in WWE or NXT or whatever, right? Or AEW. My favourite wrestlers were in this room today. All my favourite wrestlers, well, most of my favourite wrestlers were in this room today. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, meeting your favourite wrestlers, you know? Oh, that's I'm happy to hear that. Like, with my favourite wrestlers, I get to the meeting today. It's great event so much. They're putting you over here, Dennis. He's saying you're one of his favourites.
That's what he said.
We're getting special guest appearances in here, so we are.
You've never met anybody more into this wrestling. And that's
He's
you know,
fantastic, isn't he? Like,
He's in this world.
This man wrote a future book. This man's the future.
He is the half. He is the half. You've written one of them very soon.
That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying he'll write the sequel. All I have to do is sit back. He can write the sequel, so he can.
He knows it. He's everything recorded. He's everything wrote down. He's everything down the tape.
Oh, he's fantastic. Like, so, like, you're getting good praise today too. You happy enough you came along, Keaton? You get all this good praise from these boys here. Like, one of your favourites too.
Who helped you keep going with your book? Who helped, if you felt like giving up, who helped you keep believing?
Well, there's a beautiful lady in the corner there, like Finlay, and she's my fiance, my wife to be, and she had to put up with me like the late nights of me, her up in bed watching TV and me downstairs on the laptop had to write this book, like, so big credit to her, like, and all the lads and all the ladies involved in the book, like all the family members, you know, those who passed away. Like, this wasn't just my book. This is a group effort. Most things in life, are a group effort, and this is a group effort. Like, so Eddie number one for the support, and then all the lads and all the ladies and all the families that helped me out.
When you talk about wrestling from years ago, you're normally thinking of men doing it. So, but did you have what did you think about? Was there any women that wrote about it, or did you know what?
Well, unfortunately, there was no really Irish women's wrestling. That didn't really come along until the 2000s. There was women's wrestling in Ireland, but it was more like English, Scottish, or that kind of way. But we do lay claim, Keaton, to having maybe the first ever women's referee in the history of pro wrestling. Kim Starr. Now, she wasn't here today. Her real name's Rosemary, but she's the aunt. She's the aunt of Wendy Finlay. You know, she's the aunt of Pip Finlay.
Yeah, I know Rosemary.
Rosemary, yeah. Like what I call was she was maybe in the whole entire world. I haven't found anybody earlier than her who was a consistent women's referee. So yeah, I mean, her and Wendy as well was another referee. Wendy Finlay met her today. Met her before. Wendy and Rosemary are like history makers.
Whole book. How long did it take you to make the book?
2 years. 2 years, and there was a 6-month period towards the end where every single day, bar Christmas, my birthday, and Hilly's birthday, I was writing that book. So yeah, 2 full years.
Were your parents like wrestling and stuff like that?
No, I mean, Stephen, now you have a great dad, Keaton, you're very lucky you have a great dad, like, but my parents, I'm very well raised, like, I have great parents as well, like, but they're not wrestling fans, but at the same time, my dad put up with it. He took me to the wrestling shows, up in the Odyssey Arena, I kind of went in 2004, like, and Mum, I mean, she was over the moon, wrote a book. My mum used to be an English teacher, so she was thrilled her son with a book, like, so they're very, very supportive, like, again, you're very lucky in life, Keaton, you've got a great dad,
So, now that you've already noted that you've got your success, who would you, for a young author like me, what would you tell them not to do?
What advice I would give you? Well, Keaton, it's as simple as just sort of sitting down and writing. The hardest part of doing that book was sitting down and just writing that book. Was just starting. And I mean, like, I said 2 years, like, that was a long process. That was times where I didn't write for a month or a few weeks. It's just sitting down and doing it. But if you find something, Keaton, that interests you, I mean, that'll keep you focused. And I mean, I'll tell you the turning point for me. See, when I met Darkie Arnott, I realized I had to write that book. And like, thankfully, Darkie, he's read that book from the front cover to the back cover, I think 2 or 3 or 4 times over. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, that's the most satisfying. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even find words for that. Like, I'm delighted that the person who motivated me, who I don't met him as like I have to write the book. So if you find your inspiration, if you find someone that you think that you have to write this book for, Keaton, I think that's good inspiration. Hopefully that's kind of halfway good advice there. Like, find your inspiration and just find your motivation.
What's next for Nick Campbell? What's next for the person who wrote Falls, Brawls and Town Halls next to professional wrestling in one hand?
That's a good question, Keaton. I really haven't got a good answer for you. I'm going to plan to hike all of Ireland's county peaks. I'm going to hopefully do a marathon in the future. I'm going to get married to the most beautiful girl in the world over there next year. And I might do some more wrestling shows or something as well. Like, it's something to do with wrestling, like, and I'll do the foreword. That's my future. I'll do the foreword for your book, your sequel book to my book.
Thank you for taking the time to do the interview.
Keaton, give me a wrestling handshake here, boss man. Thank you so much, Keaton. You're a good interviewer, so you are.
Thank you, Nick Campbell, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now. What an honour it has been getting to meet some of my favourite local wrestlers, such as the Lone Wolf, Rocky Hunter, and a big shout out to Nick Campbell for hundreds of years of experience in that room, and I was tapping into it. The Northern Irish legend himself, Darkie Arnott. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.